Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome. This is Pastor Errol Williams here for another online Bible studies fun time with Pastor Errol tonight. So glad, so excited to have the opportunity to share with you the Word of God as well as some technologies that we can use in our churches, in our own lives as well. And if you have your own business, then this might be very useful for you. Certain tips, certain ideas, and certain strategies that you could deploy to make life far more easier for you as you go forward. I want to again say welcome to everyone and thank you so much for joining me tonight. And so glad to be here with you. Don't forget, if you have any questions or any comments, do put those in the chat room, and I'll be more than happy to pick up on those. Don't forget, you can ask any question you like, whether it be on technology, whether it be in the scriptures, or whatever, personal development. I normally specialize actually in 4 areas. There are 4 areas that I specialize in. So I'll talk about that in just a moment. And just to show you the 4 specific areas that I specifically focus on. All right, let's pray. We always have to do that, and then we will focus on our subject matter tonight. And we're looking at some amazing things tonight. Father, I thank you for who you are, for what you've done, and for what you are doing. I pray that you'll continue to inspire, enlighten, illuminate, and indeed, oh God, protect us. Thank you for tonight. And as we look into your word and into the things that pertains to you, I pray that you'll guide us, direct us, and protect us. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. There are really, when I look at it, there are 4 things that, areas that I focus on in my own personal life that I try to master, and I call it LORE, and that is my name spelled backwards, obviously with 2 R's, so ERROL. So the first area that I focus on is leadership development. It's one of my favorite areas, actually, leadership development. You know, how to be a better leader, training, developing people how to lead and to actually do much more better. The O is for organization. Organizational, again, development. Okay. So I look at an organization from inception to completion, how you would start that and how you would run that organization, whether it be a business, consultancy style work, and so on. So I really focus on that. The next one is religious education, actually. So it looks at, religion, it looks at the scriptures, the Bible, it looks at God, all of that beautiful stuff and so on. And the final one is education. I call it education and training. So basically what I do in that area is I teach various different disciplines and various different skills. So those are the things like time management, goal setting, listening skills, things like that, personal and interpersonal development, that style of thing. So those are the 4 areas that I decided that I would master throughout my life as best as I can and do the best I can. And obviously within that, ties in with technology and how I go about achieving that. That's really where my forte is. That's me. That's Errol Williams. That's what I'm trying to do in life, is to lead better, lead more exceptionally in my own personal life, that of my family, the church, the community in which I'm involved. I got involved in a community project. So leadership has really been one of those areas I can't get away from. I'm in a lot of leadership development roles. So leadership is one of my forte. And one of the persons that I follow a lot, actually, just to say this, is Dr. John Maxwell. He is probably the leadership development guru. He's probably the best in the world at it. And so I do a lot of things in relations to following him, whether through podcast or videos on YouTube. So when I go to YouTube, as an example, there are so many videos about him. I've got some of the most amazing tips from Dr. John Maxwell. I had the opportunity of seeing him live, actually, at the Bethel Convention Center there in the Midlands, and that was truly amazing. Organizational development, actually, how I learned this was through my experience at HPCC Bridge Park experience. It's just really been amazing. And with my first boss, Leonard Johnson, he was probably one of the greatest community leaders that I've ever come across, definitely in my time. And he has passed away, and we're preparing now to celebrate his life and his legacy. So I learned a lot of that through HPCC, through Bridge Park. We took over a disused bus garage and converted it into a multi-million-pound operation. When it comes to religious education, obviously my forte is the Bible, and I'm a King James Version Bible person. I do read all the other versions, but the King James Version is the Bible that I use mostly, and I'm excited about that. I would say, some of the most amazing individuals that I have followed, one of them was Apostle, we call him K.C. Price. I think he was the number one teacher on the planet. And then we had Miles Monroe. I learned a lot from them. Not just them. I just wanted to point out those two, but I have also point out the things I've learned from Bishop Mike Wilson. It's just been phenomenal, really. So I can't really miss him out on that. When it comes to education, training, motivational speaking and things like that, one of the guys was, it was amazing, Anthony Robbins. He is probably the number one motivational speaker in the world. There are many others that I have had time to listen to, also Dr. Miles Monroe as well. But Anthony Robbins was the very first person that I had the opportunity of listening to. Miles Monroe played a great part. So that's really my forte. These are the 4 areas which I'm trying to master. And so I use technology to help me to do that. So I want to share some of those beautiful things with you tonight. Don't forget, if you have any questions or any comment, please do not hesitate to let me have those. I want to say welcome to Brother Clive Williams. That's right. Yahweh be magnified. That's it. Sister Christine, it was great seeing you today. And thank you so much for joining us tonight. Sister Herman Waite in Jamaica. Bless you, bless you, bless you. And that's right, falling in love with Jesus is the best thing that certainly ever happened. Sister Claudia B., welcome to you as well. Greetings in the wonderful name of Jesus. Michael Palmer, blessings, greetings to you as well. And blessings. And Sister Daphne, greetings to you as well. And Brother Andrew, how are you doing, sir? How is your wonderful, beautiful, gorgeous wife? Please give her my regards, please. All the way from Canada. Yeah, so we've got a really wonderful flavor of mix of people here, UK, Canada, America, and such the like. So thank you so much for joining with us tonight. I want to focus on a few things tonight, and if you have any questions biblically or otherwise, please do not hesitate to put those in the chat room. Please do not hesitate to do that for me. That would be fantastic. Just wanted to show my setup. You can see my setup on the screen here. And wanted to talk first of all basically about live streaming. Those of you that are interested in doing live streaming, you don't have to go as advanced as I have done, but this is the equipment that I use that you can see. I use a very reasonable webcam, which you see here, and it's very reasonable. It's under 100, I think it's under 100 pounds now actually, and it's, you can pick them up very cheaply, but it's always good to use a webcam that's outside of your camera, outside of your computer, so it's not built in. You have greater flexibility and control over it. This is the audio system I use. It's a software that I use, and it's free and it's powerful. It's called Voice Meter Potato. That's exactly how you spell it, MEETER. And it's a learning curve to understand it, by the way, but it's really worth it at the end. I use the most powerful software in the world, I believe, to do live streaming with. It's called vMix, but there are free ones out there. There's a free one out there called OBS. Okay, it's free, and it's probably one of the most powerful ones out there as well. But it's free. It's open source. So you can actually get that. So that's free, absolutely free. I use a Blue Yeti microphone. It's right here. So I'm not using this headphone actually. This is just a headset that I'm using. But my microphone is here. It's, in actual fact, it looks literally like the one there because that is the exact same one. So if I get closer, you can probably hear the richness of the sound. It's just that I'm a little distance from it, but that's perfectly fine. It sounds amazing for me. As I said, this is the office runner that I use. I could listen to it downstairs. I can go outside and still hear what's going on, and that is just truly powerful. The computer that I use, I bought this computer from PC Specialists. They're called PC Specialists. You can build your own computer with them, and then go from there. And then I have this what we call Stream Deck, so I can press a button and make some noise, etc. And I could do many things with it. The lighting system that I have right here, that's able to diffuse the light from my glasses and so on. But you got to set them right because lighting is almost everything. So I use my mobile phone to take text messages, and I also use the iPad, which is what I'm writing on now with this pen, and so that's a part of the whole system. So if you're into live streaming or you want to do live streaming, then it's not difficult to do. It all depends on what you want to do. But if you need more suggestions or advice, you can always come to me, and I'll be more than happy to assist where I can. So if that's your thing, you want to do live streaming, and there's a lot more to it than what I'm saying here. Then I could give you some more information, and there's a lot of information as well on YouTube that talks about how to do live streaming. So this is what you see here is really at the top end, because I have to do a lot of live streaming for the Bible studies, for the church, for the Sunday evening service, for the Women's Connect, the last Saturday of every month. So I do need a really robust system, and this really is it. And it just is amazing. Just amazing. And there's nothing here that I need to improve, which is the interesting thing about it. It's always good to have backup when you're doing things. So I've got a few backups to what I use here on a daily basis, and it's been excellent on a daily basis. It really just works really well. What I want to do is to move on from there, and if you, as I said before, if you have any questions, please let me have those points. So that's my second point to you tonight. My first point was about my particular, let me just go back. I want to just go back to this slide to say it's very important that you have your own goal, your vision of what it is that you want to do. What is it that you exist to do? You and me, I have set my sight on these 4 things, and everything I do, I like to base it around these areas. So that's my very first thought to you tonight. Point number 1 is, what is your goal? What is your dream? What is your vision? What is it that you want to achieve? Don't try to achieve too many things in life. 4 or 5 things is perfectly fine. 10, 20, 30, 100 is also fine, but it's entirely up to you. And I want to be a master at what I do eventually before I die. I want to be remembered. I want to leave a legacy in these areas that you see here. That's really my thing. And the second thing that I am talking to you about is, if live streaming is your thing and you want to do live streaming, then go for it. I started off, many years ago, and thank you very much, Andrew. Thanks very much. I started off many years ago, and it took a while to get to where I am. So you got to start somewhere and build going forward. Okay, I want to move to what I refer to as the third area, and I want to suggest a particular software that you may want to consider to improve your church, improve your personal writing, and also do some amazing things. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen now and go from there. Now, one of the things I want to share with you is let me just give you an example of this. Is a software called Grammarly, and most of you may be familiar with it already. You may be familiar with Grammarly, but it's a tool that enables you to check a few things. Check your grammar correction, and you can see basically normally, if I get a piece of text, let's say I'm going to go to a website, I'm just going to get some text from somewhere. Let me see if I could find a place where I can get some text. So I'm going to go to crgp.org.uk. I'm going to go to our corporate website and see if I could find some text from that website. And just go from there. So I'm going to go to Bishop Ted Roy. So he has some writings done. So I'm going to just copy a bit of this here, for example. Just copy some of that and then go back to here. Right, so basically I have copied that text into this here, and it's straight away giving me some things that I could possibly correct. But first of all, I will start with what Grammarly does. Grammarly is such an amazing tool because it helps to correct your grammar and also helps to see if there's any plagiarism. So normally I would set my goal to say, well, right, I want a goal that is the domain of it to be general, the intent to be convincing, maybe. Audience, general, expert. I'd use knowledgeable, and I'll leave it there, and it will check it according to that. If I want it to be an academic or business, general, maybe it's an email I'm doing, maybe it's casual or creative, I could choose one of these. So I'm not going to choose general in this one. I could be trying to inform, describe, convince, tell a story. It could be all of these. So I'm going to leave inform, tell a story on this one, and leave it at that. It could be general, it could be knowledgeable, it could be expert. I'm going to leave it at knowledgeable. Do I want it informal or formal? I'll leave it at formal on this one. Now what it does basically, it checks it against any correction that may be needed. Okay, you could see that in the red. Then I could check it for clarity. It will check it in blue. You will see anything that comes up in blue. He will give me suggestions relating to that. If I do engagement, well, it seems to be, in terms of this article being engaging, it's quite okay. In terms of the delivery, it's just right. Now, what Grammarly does, it gives me a score of 88. It tells me how many characters, how many words, how many sentences, how long it would take to read, speaking time, 2 minutes, 30 seconds, the length, and so on. Word length, sentence length, which is above average. Normally I try to keep it around 15 to 18. Readability score, it says here, is 38. So we're going to look to see if we can improve that. So I'm going to start with correctness. The other thing as well that it allows, and I think I'll do this first, is to check for plagiarism. So what it's doing now is searching billions of web pages, you can see here, and it comes back and says 5% of the text is plagiarized, 5%, and it says has served as senior pastor of the House of Bread Church of God of Prophecy. So if I go to this website, House of Bread Newbridge, it has the exact same thing here, which is interesting. Nothing else is plagiarized, so that's perfectly fine. So I don't have to worry about that neither. In terms of correctness, it's giving me some ideas here. I could just accept it. It's, two daughter-in-laws. So it's saying here they have been married for 41 years and based with 3 children. And it's removing that. Let's just give it accept it and see what it does. Well, I'm happy with that. They have been married for 41 years, blessed with 3 children. Not much major. His pastoral tenure, what they're saying is take the comma out as being productive. Now you can see the score here is going from 88 to 92%. We're trying to get it to 100, hopefully. It's saying here, after wave of outpouring of the Holy Spirit, it's saying after Spirit, put in a comma. Netherlands, it's saying Belgium and the Netherlands. During that time, he is taking out the word has. During that time, comma, he's putting in the word has, which is fine. It's just preferences as well, but it makes it a lot more better in terms of readability. Again, it's just taking out, the comma from here. Provided. So it's saying a recommended provided training. So providing the United States, or the Zimbabwe, United States, or the United States. We will do that here. United States again. Right. So this is definitely there's a spelling mistake on the website. So this is what I need to change because it says United States. So somehow I missed that one here. States, and teaching is that's the word, and the teaching. So when I look at that, you can see now it's 99%. So there is something here. So if I go through correctness, it's saying take out the word successfully. Who is experienced? He is married to Alni, an experienced counselor who has completed her diploma. Okay, and it's got another point here. Let's look at that. He has written a number of articles. He has written several articles, it's saying. So rather than say a number of, just use one word. He is spiritual gifted has allowed him. So still coming up with more. States and across Europe and the CIS countries. Okay, let me just make a mark there. So what you see basically now is it's gone through the correctness, it's gone through the clarity, it's gone through the engagement, it's gone through the delivery, and it's now given a score of 100%. Okay, 100%. And average length normally of a sentence, for me, I normally keep between 15 and 18, and 19 is above average, and so on. So I use Grammarly almost every day to check, my writing, to check my English, to check, clarity. Is it clear? And once Grammarly gives me the 100%, then I kind of think I'm happy. And that is amazing. So I recommend basically that here's a tool that you can use. I've got the paid version, but if you've got the free version, because Grammarly is free, you will only get the corrections in terms of if there's any spelling mistakes or anything like that, but you won't get the others: clarity, engagement, delivery. I'm not sure if you get plagiarism test. As I said, there's 5%, which is here. Let me just let's check this out. Actually, let me just go to Newbridge and see. Well, in fact, this is interesting. I'm not so sure. This looks like something from the House of Bread in Kittle Road. I'm seeing at the beginning it says we are dedicated to providing our family with the most nutritious. I'm not sure what page that's on, but Newbridge Children's Academy, not sure where that is. That's where it's founded anyway, so interesting. Okay, so the point that I am recommending is that Grammarly is the most amazing tool to use. I strongly recommend that. It's something that you could consider to improve your emails, your letters. If you're writing a book, you can certainly come here and use the tools. If you're writing a thesis, maybe you're at college or university, most universities use Grammarly anyway. and most lecturers use it just in case they need to check whether it's plagiarized or not. So it's a really powerful tool, and so I'm going to use this later. So I'll save that. Actually, I'll call it Bishop Ted Roy. No, that would be good if I get it right. Bishop Ted Roy. So I'll use that article a little later. Right, so let me just come back here just for a moment before I go any further. I think Grammarly is amazing. I really do, because it really does assist greatly. I have found it to be 99% accurate. There are just the one or two things that sometimes it may not check properly, but I find it to be 99.9% useful for me in any way. So I recommend that. You can use that to improve whatever you do in the church or in your business. Now, if you have any questions or any comment, please go ahead and send that through to me. Sister Elaine and Pastor Elijah, thank you both for joining us. Appreciate you guys being here. So Grammarly is a powerful tool, and I cannot emphasize it any more than that. I don't think. I mean, I think that it's just amazing, and I strongly recommend that you do that. Now, here are some things that you may want to consider in terms of the benefits of Grammarly. Is achieve clarity, improve your accuracy, the communication, increase your confidence as well. It saves a lot of time, enhance readability, polish your style, so you can actually say, well, what's your writing style, and it will actually help you with that. You can also use it to avoid plagiarism. You don't want to plagiarize other people's work as if it's your own. And the thing I like the most about this is that I learn while I am actually using it. So I'm learning the things about it. So for example, I'll just give you, I got to do it in a moment. And it elevate your writing skills, because the interesting thing about it is it's teaching you, and you can use certain learning aspects of it, which really is amazing. I find it amazing. For example, I might put in order to, let me go back, in ORD, in order to complete, COMPL, complete the work he stayed indoors. Let's just see what it does. Now, interestingly enough, and this always happens, it always corrects in order to. And it will change. And because I know that, I don't use the word in order to anymore. It would use the word to. Let's see what it did. Yeah, exactly. To complete the work, no doubt it would be comma. He stayed indoors. Are you with me? So rather than, because I know that, it's taught me that, rather than using in order to, just change it to one word, to. And it's teaching you. And you could actually look up certain things. So for example, if I go back a bit, I could say, well, right, learn more about this. Why is that? And it gives me, it teaches me, it shows me why. If I go to he, I could say, well, why are you using that? It tells me. If I go to, let me just come out of that one. If I go to, okay, let me accept that. Let me not accept that yet. If I go to indoors, again, it will explain to me why. Well, in actual fact, it was the same one as before. So the good thing is, it's teaching me what to do and what not to do. So it's really powerful in that sense. So I strongly recommend that you consider using Grammarly. It's a really powerful tool. Okay, now let's look at something else that you might find really interesting. And I'm going to move on to something else. And I'm going to move to my fourth point, and that is Canva. Okay. Canva. So let's go back over here, and I'm going to go to Canva. Now, there are lots of people who are using Canva. What is Canva? Well, Canva is a free website that you can use to create some amazing marketing material for your church, such as leaflets, flyers. I'm just going to go to templates, for example. So you may want to do a flyer for your church. You may want to do a business card for your church. You may want to do a newsletter for your church. You may want to do some social media designs for your church. And it's got it over here, you know, business and certain things that you can do and so on. Okay, I'll come to that in a moment. Documents, if you want to create some documents and so on. Presentation, if you want to do a presentation like PowerPoint, things like that. You can do it also in video. Whiteboard, business cards, flyers. Maybe you want to do something, a flyer. These are beautiful flyers, by the way. And these are professionally designed flyers as well. And you've got all kind of things that you can use. Mind maps that they create for you. You can actually use, if you're into mind mapping, if you know what that is. If you want to do something for your website, it would help you with that. Graphs, it's really powerful stuff. Planners, you want to use a planner for yourself, or letterheads, or calendars, or invoices, or reports. And then, as I mentioned, it's got social media, video that you can create easily and send around WhatsApp and all over the place. And really some really powerful stuff that you can really, do. It's just truly remarkable. Okay, it's just out of this world what you can do with these. And these are videos that you can actually, create what you want to do with it. So what is it that you may want to do? You may want to do a simple thing like a leaflet that you can send out through to your social media. So let's go to, I'm going to type in church services, on the video, under it. I did that, just church services templates that you can use. I kind of like this one, actually, this one here. There are different ones you can choose from. And then you could customize it for your own self. I'm going to go for that one at the top that I liked. I like this one, actually. I think that one is nice. So I'm going to customize this one and see if I can use that for our local church. Now, that's kind of cool, I think. I like that. Now, the first thing to decide is, what size do I want this? Do I want this to stay as... our screen at church is a 1024 by 768, so I could just use that particular size and it will just resize it to my particular one. And that's great. I may not want that person in the picture. Maybe I do not want him. So let me. Right. I'm trying not to show you guys certain photos. So let me go and find a photo of myself that I can use. So I'm going to go personal. So it's just my images that you should see. Hopefully, if I can find Errol's personal images of me. So there I am. So, okay. Okay, what one can I use? I think Mother Vassal would be happy with that one. I'm going to use me and Mother Vassal. So I can take that picture here from here. It's a nice picture of me and Mother Vassal, and just drag it on. So what it does, it uploads it into the system, and there it is right there. So I can say, well, I'm going to use that one, but I may want to take out the background of that image. So I'll just click a button, and hopefully it took that background out. Isn't that wonderful? And it's just, look how beautiful it took the background out. And it's just me and Mother Vassal standing. I think that's amazing. Control Z. I think that's great. Me and Mother Vassal just standing right there. And then we could just change the right into COGOPWEMBLEY. I think that's kind of cool. I might want to make that bigger, seeing as I want the church name to be really big. I can bold it. Just bold it here and just stretch it so that it's equal. COGOP Wembley Sunday service. And then we could change the date. Let's see now. We're going to do, what's the date today? 15. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 16th, 17th, 18th. I think it's the 19th. So the 19th. No, Sunday 10:30 a.m. with Mother Vassal. I think that's kind of cool. Now we're just going to change the address, which is 197 Ealing, EALING, Ealing Road, and then we're just going to change our website down the bottom here to cogop.com. Look at that. Right, let's see how that looks. I think we can actually see in bold on the screen, and I think that's kind of cool. Colgate Wembley Sunday service, Sunday 10:30 a.m. with Mother Vassal, 197 Ealing Road. That is truly fantastic. I like that. Right, there's just one thing missing, I think. And it's, I notice it's got the background. So I'm going to change the background if I can. So let me go to COGOP, and I'm going to go to Wembley this time. I think I should have, if I remember, WEMBLEY. I'm just doing a search to see if I find it without having to show all the pictures. Okay, I'm going to have to do this. I think I should be okay. Boom, 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 upload. So I'm going to find a picture of Wembley. There you are. Right, I'm going to put that in the background. Okay. Maybe Control Z. Let me take that out and see. Right, so I think right, so that was the background that I had before. This one here. So okay, Control Z and that. Let me just go back to upload, bring that back in. I want to set background image and I want to do something here. Let me just do that. Right, I made a mistake. What have I done? Okay, no problem. Right, what I want to do basically is put maybe a dark color over it and see if that would work. And then don't see if that would work. It's not going to work the way I want it. Control Z. Okay, it's not. What I'm trying to do basically is to put a color over it. Send layer, send to back. Let's check something here. Position, transparency. Right, so I think it can be done. If I drag it now over, can you see what I've just done? I'm just dragging it over the back of that one. Maybe I may need to change the colors of these. And yeah, that's not too bad. That ain't too bad. So I could use this. I think I can use that as a flyer for Sunday coming. Yeah. Send it out to all the members. Colgate Wembley Sunday service with Mother Vassal and Pastor Errol. That's a cool one. And we're live streaming the service. Now you can see how this, you can make it look better if you want. You know, you can make it look better. You know, we can maybe darken it a bit more if we want to bring out the things in front of it. Yeah, I think I'm kind of cool with that. Let's see. You can edit the photo if we want and adjust it. We can make it brighter, the photo. You can see that. Bring it a little brighter. Bring in some more contrast, highlights. Create some shadows if we want. Yep. I think that's cool. And I always like to touch up the vibrancy, actually. Does a Mother Vassal look great there? And give it some saturation. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. I think I'm going to use that, actually. I think that's kind of cool. Yeah, that's amazing. Fantastic. All right, so I'm considering you to take a look at Canva. The good thing is I'm going to give that Mother VASSAL. Okay, I keep doing the same thing, isn't it? VASSALL. And so I'm going to download that because I think that's a really good picture, actually. So I'm going to download that as a 1024 by 768. And that will work beautifully with my screen at church. And yeah, I think that's kind of cool. All right, let's go back to here, and I'm gonna bring that photo actually inside here because I think it's really gonna like that photo. If you have any questions, please, about Canva, please let me know. There's a lot of information that you can learn through YouTube. There's a lot of things that, I mean, it's just amazing things that you can actually do with this tool. It's just truly breathtaking, really. And so this is the design that I've just done. Really beautiful. It fits on our screen, really. And the good thing about this, when you show this on the screen in church, really massive screen, it does look so much more professional. You know, the PRO goes up to announce whatever it is, and then up comes this particular picture designed professionally. And all I had to do basically was to change the photo, change the background, and just change a few texts. Simple, right? And all of that you can do for free. So I'm recommending Canva for your church, Canva for your personal, personal preferences. Also for your business. Everyone around the world is using it. Millions and millions. I don't know how many people are using it. It's just millions. I don't get paid for it, and I don't get no sponsorship fee for mentioning it to you tonight. So I don't get nothing out of it. Okay? No, okay. All right. Now, I want to move on to something else, and then I have a bonus for you guys. Yeah, thank you very much. Andrew should lighten the word, and that's exactly what I did. Change the colors actually, so just to match what we're doing. But that's just giving you an idea basically of the kind of things that you can do. I could have done that in video, and so the text is flying all over the place and so on and so forth, but I leave it there. I recommend Canva to you. Now, those of you that are into video, oh my goodness, you're going to love this one. I'm telling you, you're going to love this one, because this one is just truly amazing. And I strongly recommend basically that you think about this. Now, what I'm going to show you is what I call DaVinci Resolve. Okay, for those of you that are into videoing, DaVinci Resolve is free. And it is one of the most amazing software on the planet, or on the internet, anywhere you could find it. So you can download this for free. So you just have to go to DaVinci Resolve website. I'm just going to open up a new project as an example here. And it's telling me that another upload is another update is available. I'm going to skip that for the time being. Now, DaVinci Resolve basically, it's a learning curve, okay? It's a great learning curve in the sense that you got to learn how to use it. So you can go to the DaVinci website and just download it. Let's just do that for a moment. Let's just go to DaVinci Resolve website. So I'm going to use a browser, DaVinci, DaVinci RESOL. DaVinci Resolve, and there it is. It's from Blackmagic. Don't worry about the name, it's just a name. And you can go to the website here, and you can just go there and open up an account, and you can just look at that free download. I have the studio version, but you really don't need the studio version. I needed it because there was certain fine tuning I wanted, and that's the reason why I got it. And it's just a one-off payment anyway. But the DaVinci Resolve is free, and all the features that you probably would need for your church, for your business, is there. And I do slideshows, I do all kind of stuff in DaVinci Resolve. So go ahead, download it. What can it do? You can do editing. Okay, so you can edit your footage in terms of your photo images, your video images, free. Okay, you can adjust color, free. You can do your audio setup and adjust your audio, improve your audio, free. And they got this amazing, I must have warned you that Fusion, it's just the way that this thing works. That is a learning curve, okay? But it's free. It's free. And it's used by some of the top people in the world. And it's free. DaVinci Resolve is free. You don't even need the paid version. Trust me when I tell you that. And you're getting this for free. It tells you what's new in it and the improvement in various different places. I've watched hundreds of videos how to use this software, and it's an all-in-one solution for post-production. So I do a lot of stuff in it. I bring in my media. I do my cutting, my editing, fusion, my color, my audio, and then I output it. That's the delivery in terms of, outputting it. So it goes into each particular phase of what needs to happen. It's just amazing. And it's, did I say it was free? I think I did. So basically I could come in here and I could just go over to somewhere, and I'm going to get some images that I have, which I think I can use these images over here. And I'm just going to drop them in my media pool. That's what I've just done. I've just dropped those pictures in my media pool. And if I have any video, I can do the same with. Let me see if I've got a video over here that I can use. A video. Yeah, I'm going to use this video of Adrian. So I can drop a video over here, and the video is here. So down the bottom, you got here your media, which is really, I'm in the media section right now. Then you got the cut, where you can do certain things. The edit, where is really where the magic takes place. The fusion, which I was talking to you about, is just complicated, so I won't go into that. You can do your color adjustment of all of the clips that you have. Which would, if they're on the timeline, then they would show up here. Audio, if you've got any audio that you bring in, how you can actually adjust those is just really truly amazing. And then if you want to output it for, custom expert, H.265, YouTube, Vimeo, you can send it out. And did I say again it was free? Yes, I did. I think I did. So let's go back to media for a moment, and I'm going to bring a few things onto the timeline. So let's say, for example, this is, Adrian speaking. I'm just going to take a little segment out of what he's saying from here. So I've just put in an in point, an out point, and drag it onto the timeline. So basically what I've just done is put his video. So I could just decide, you know what, I'm just going to just take that bit. That's all I need. I'm not going to take anything else. I'm just going to take that bit, and I'm going to remove the rest. Control Z. What did I just do? Right. So I just want to delete that. So what it's done basically is just giving me an 8-second clip, just for 8 seconds. Right, so that was 8 seconds of that. So that's kind of cool, right? So if I wanted to now bring in, let's say, a photo here, I want to bring that photo in. And let's say, I'm just using some example. I'm not teaching you how to use this. I'm just showing you the power of the tool. I could come in and I can say, right, I'm going to do some slideshow with this image. So I want this image, first of all, to fill the frame that it's here. It says full in the frame. So I may want this image here to actually just zoom in a little like that. I think that's kind of cool, just like that. And then when it gets to another, right, let me just check something here. Okay. So when it gets to this stage here, I want it to even go further in and just about here. So basically what I've done is I've just put in certain keyframe in, and look at what it does. It's like I'm creating a slideshow with what's going on here. This is just truly amazing. And I say, I'm not here to teach you how to use it. I'm just here to show you that it's available. It's free. It's DaVinci Resolve. You can use it for your church to do your post editing. It's just remarkable, really, what you can do with this. So I've just put in something on my timeline, and then it's just amazing. It's amazing. And if I wanted to, I could bring some music underneath, the next roll, and then basically it just beautiful, absolutely amazing. And look how smoothly it does it, and that's your slideshow. So this is where I create my slideshows. This is where I do my video editing. This is where I do my audio corrections and all of that stuff. And then, as I mentioned before, if I wanted to do certain color, you can see now that the picture's there. I could sharpen that picture. You can see I'm sharpening it. I really don't. I could put it out of focus, but I really think it's about right. Yeah, I could put in some saturation. You see how much saturation is given. I mean, that is amazing. Yeah, so it's just remarkable software. But as I said again, the learning curve is amazing. But once you know it, and you can do it. Perfect. Okay. So I'm not doing a training session. That's not what I'm doing. I'm just sharing with you that this free software is there and you can use it for whatever you want to. I'm promoting the idea that you use it for your church, your local church, okay? DaVinci Resolve. And I think that's amazing. Yeah, DaVinci is definitely similar to Premiere Pro, Adobe Premiere Pro. I mean, I have Adobe Premiere Pro, but I prefer to use DaVinci Resolve. I think it's easier for me, and it's certainly something I love to do. The ability as well to do so many things in one place is just remarkable. I want to say, for those of you who want to do websites, those of you who want to create a website, what I would suggest is really something really I think would be useful. And I recommend, basically, if you're into doing a website, the first thing that you may need to consider is a domain name. A domain name is what you would call, your website. So, for example, a domain name is like cogop.com or cogop.org or cogop.org.uk. So, for example, this is our local church website, and I use it also for the region, so it's 2-in-1. cogop.org is our international website, at the General Assembly, and cogop.org.uk is our national website. So that's what your domain name would be. So, and domain names are relatively, reasonable, and so on. So domain name is really the thing you want to get, and you can get it and park it. In other words, you purchase it, it's yours, and so long as you pay for it each year, you can keep it. So my personal domain is Errol Williams.org. So that's my personal one that I just built it, left it there, and so on. So I strongly recommend, you get a domain name. Once you get domain name, which is key, to begin in, you need a hosting company. And I've used quite a lot over the years. I use one called SiteGround at the moment, and it's just been amazing with them guys. They're UK based, and they're just fantastic. I just love the way they operate. So I find it very, very useful. I use them and they're very, very helpful. And I use WordPress. Now you may have heard of other one called Vix and so on, that Wix and so on. They're good, but I use WordPress and I use one theme called Divi. You can find all of these things on the website, on YouTube in particular. So WordPress is free and it's the platform that you would use as the foundation. And then the Divi is a theme. So it's an actual theme that you use to do everything on the WordPress. And so I use Divi, and that's the main thing. So number one, you need to get a domain name. And that would be of whatever you want to call it, yourself or the church and so on. A hosting company, I use SiteGround. There, that's amazing. Number three, I use WordPress because WordPress is what most people use. I think around 60% of web designs are WordPress. And I found one theme that does everything I want it to do. And I could do anything I want with that theme. So I use that. Other people use things like Elementor and things like that, which is absolutely beautiful and fantastic. Gets the job done. I have chosen Divi and I stay with that. So if you're into building a website, building your own website, when people come to me and they ask me, you know, where can I find your details? All I do is say, go to errolwilliams.org. That's all I say. So I have, you know, I just believe that it's just awesome to be able to know how to do websites. So for example, this one is our corporate website. Yeah, so when you actually land on this page, what it does straight away, it shows you all of our events in one place. You can click on that and go to all the events and see what's happening in Church and Prophecy. But then it gives you this pop-up, you know, where you can listen to Bishop's address as well as give us your email address, and we will add you to our mailing system and so on. And then you will find other information as you scroll down and so on. And we have a lot of videos on our website, as you can see there. Our COGOP.com one, I've put the same video there and I give it the same feel as the corporate one. And the reason for that is to make sure we get people going to that site and feeling as if they're actually there already. So this is what's going on right now on COGOP.com. If I click on this button, you're only going to hear a repeat of me talking. I click on this button, you're only going to hear a repeat of me talking. I click on this button, you're only right. So there you have it. So basically that's that, and this is my own personal website that I've built. I don't even remember how long I built this ago. I hardly ever come here, but it's an amazing website. Actually, it's just truly amazing. If you want to find out about me, then there is some information there that talks about who Errol Williams is, and if somebody wants to book Errol Williams, then they will come down here. They'll get a list of things that I do, and they could decide if they want me to assist them or not. So these are some of the books that I'm selling online at the moment, and they are amazing books. I like this one actually. My favorite book, and apart from the Bible, is that one. So I've written 5 books. Building a Dream. This is my favorite one here, Pursuing Excellence. So Building a Dream was my last, so this is my first book. That's how I looked when I wrote this book. So that's how I looked. I was so young. Oh my gosh, can you believe it? I was so young. And so that book is doing pretty well. It is an amazing book. Yeah, and you can get it online actually. How much is that now online? I can't even remember. $3.49. $3.49. It's an amazing book actually. So that's just really about web design. I want to just close off in the next 10 minutes, spend 10 minutes on the next thing I want to share with you. And it's a thing that really is just so amazing. And it is obviously ChatGPT. It's amazing actually some of the things I've done in it recently. So I'm looking at a book, and it's I think it's called The Way of the Explorer: New Frontiers in Personal Development. So I asked ChatGPT to come up with a book cover for me or something similar, and it gave me this, which I'm thinking about. This was also something I did in ChatGPT. So if I wanted to do a storyline of this particular lady, I could use that. You can see the very similar person. All I did was I changed the color of the hair from purple, and I changed the background a little bit, and it gave me those things. These are things that you can do. You can generate art. If you're into art, you can generate art. This is something that I did today. I just talked about, building a city on water. Make sure there's a chess set in the foreground. And I mean, what it produces is just amazing. And there are lots more. It's interesting what I asked it to do. I asked it to use my book and to create a game. And this is something that I've always wanted to do. And it's given me an idea. It's just just trying to find the time to actually do it is just remarkable. When you're doing so much things in the church, it's just so amazing. But my book, I put my book in it and says, I need a game. So it gave me an idea, and I thought the idea is pretty good. I must admit, it's pretty good. Whether it would work or be a seller, I don't know, but it's a way that young children and young people could use the book and use the game and actually, educate themselves as they play the game, and that's truly remarkable. I must say I like this output, truly amazing. Some really amazing stuff that it produces, and I'm just so excited. And I think this one here, African princess singing with lions watching is just truly phenomenal. So let's take a look then at ChatGPT just for a few minutes, okay? Just for a few minutes. And I'm going to go into ChatGPT and just to show you. Again, ChatGPT is free, but there is a paid version. And the difference between the paid version is that you're able to do a certain amount of things quicker, and you don't have to wait around if too many people are using it. Right now, over 100 million people are using ChatGPT for artwork. So I can say, for example, I'm going to put a command. I just talk into it and it just goes off. So create a scenic inspirational poster with a bald eagle surrounded by chickens with a glassy effect. Now I just making that up as I was going along. So basically what it's doing right now is going to create a scenery inspirational poster with a bald eagle I said bald eagle. I should have said bald, B-A-L-D, eagle, surrounded by chickens with a glossy effect. I have no idea what it's going to produce, but let's see whether I like it or not. It's just really amazing, actually, what you can do. So what I decided to do is to save most of my artwork and just to see how it develops over time. But I'm just messing around. I'm just playing around with the actual system just to see how effective it is and how powerful it is in terms of creating pictures. There are others out there called Midjourney. I think Midjourney and the one I'm using, some say the one I'm using is better, whereas Midjourney may have certain advantages as well. So they're both good. It's just depending on which one you choose to use. I choose to use this one. It says the image, it wasn't able to do it. Please feel free to let me know. I apologize for the increment Pastor Errol. I'm just going to ask it to try again. Try again. This is what I always do. Just say try again. It could be that 100 million people using it, and for some reason or another, it just didn't work for me on that particular occasion. He says, I'm unable to provide the visual depiction of the inspirational scenery with the bald eagle and chicken at this moment. If you have any others requests or need. Well, I decided to do it absolutely amazing with a glossy effect. Can you see the glossy effect? And it did give me a bald eagle, actually. It did give me the bald eagle. I mean, that is absolutely remarkable. To tell you the honest truth. And then it gives me the description that it used here. This is an inspirational poster depicting it says bald eagle, but it's a bald eagle as well, actually, surrounded by chickens, all set against a stunning natural scenery. The image should have a glossy effect, enhancing the visual appeal. The eagle, majestic and prominent, stands out amongst the chickens, symbolizing leadership and strength. The background scenery should be breathtaking with vibrant colors and a scenic atmosphere to inspire and uplift the viewer. This image should evoke a sense of motivation and the importance of standing out and leading with courage. So I could ask it to do certain things. I could ask the eagle for the eagle to be, looking ahead rather than looking to the side. But I kind of like that anyway. I think that's kind of cool. It's amazing. I think it's just amazing. And normally I may ask for, 4 images. Now every image has a seed number, and everyone has a generated ID number, and because I ask it always to produce it, it always produces, so that I could have the number, so I could say, well, that's the actual number for that particular artwork. It's just amazing. Now, what do I use it for? I use it to help me in the church, to check my emails, to respond to emails, to write letters, respond to letters, write a poem. So I can say, write me a poem about the bald eagle and leadership in regards to also chickens, and make it inspirational. Only 4 paragraphs, by the way. Make sure it rhymes. So I'm just making this up as I go along. So I'm asking it to write me a poem, and this is what it did. I mean, it's just amazing. I only asked for 4 paragraphs, so let me see if it obeys me and gave me 4 paragraphs. So it says, in the realm where feathers softly sway, an eagle stands in the light of day, among the chickens diverse and keen, a symbol of might rarely seen, with eyes that pierce through the morning mist, a leader's grace in its talons twist. In the dance of the diverse fowls parade, its presence inspires never to fade. And now I spelled it correctly. Bald eagle, soaring high and free, teaching lessons of what one can be in the midst of clocks and varied plumes. Its strength in leadership quality blooms. Now you get the drift, right? I've just put in a few commands. What did I say? Write me a poem about the bald eagle and the leadership, blah, blah, blah. And it produces it. I ask it for four paragraphs. I ask it to rhyme. And there you have it. There you have it. It could be that you want to write a book. Let's say you want to write a book about eagles. Okay. I wish to write a book about the bald eagles. Could you give me any ideas as to how I could start? I've never written a book before, so this is my first time. So please help me. And go easy on me because I'm young and talented and I want to write this book. And so give me some tips, please. So what I've done basically, I've given it clear instructions about what I want to do, why I want to do it. And it says, and then it starts to give me some understanding of what I could start to do. Do my research, start by learning about eagles, their habitat, behavior and symbolism. Define your purpose, and that's a very good start actually. Defining your purpose. Why is it that why are you writing the book? Target audience. Who's your audience? These are absolutely correct. When I was writing my book, these are the research that I had come across. Outline, character development. Then it gives me some writing tips. Begin your book with something intriguing. You know, I mean, some tips is here absolutely amazing. Okay, let's go further. Thank you for that. I'd like to get an outline. Could you give me an outline of what the book could possibly be? You know, chapter headings and things like that. So you can see how quick. I really want to give you the idea of the speed at which this is happening. I'm really not typing at the moment. And even if I make a mistake, ChatGPT seems to understand exactly what I'm saying. So it's now giving me the outline of the book. And it's even giving me book title, Wings of Majesty. You look at that. The journey of the bald eagle. I would just change that to BOLD. So it's given me a book title. I didn't even ask it for one, but it's given me one, Wings of Majesty. That's a very good one, actually. The Journey of the Bald Eagle. So it's given me chapter 1, The Eagle's World. Chapter 2, From Egg to Sky. Chapter 3, The Flight of Freedom. The Day in the Life. Majestic Wings. Eagles in ecosystems. And it's gone up to 10, coexistent with the majestic birds and appendices and so on. And this is really amazing. It's really amazing. This is truly amazing. That could be, okay. Using the title that you gave above, could you create a book cover for me with that title? I kind of like that title. I think it was absolutely amazing. So I'm asking it now to create for me that book cover using, you know, the title that it gave. And look what it was doing. It understands exactly what I need. It understands that I need an image of my book title. And I could fine tune it a bit more if I want to, but let's see what it comes up with and see if I'm happy with that. If I'm not, I will go again and try again and ask it to produce more for me and see whether or not that really does work. But what you can see basically here is the power. Wow, I mean, that is, I did not expect this. I did not expect this, actually. I did not expect this. Under no circumstance whatsoever did I expect this. This is magnificent. Now, it doesn't spell it right, actually. I noticed that, you know, Wings of Majesty, so that can be easily corrected. and I could see in the spine that there's some correction, but that's perfectly fine. I could take this into, I'm going to ask it to do something for me. I wonder if it would be able to do it. No, I couldn't. I don't think it can. No, it won't be able to. If you don't try, no, it won't be able to, because I need to. What I was going to ask it to do, I don't think it's going to be able to do it. I won't even try. Is to recreate this in Canva, so I could just, edit it and so on. But I can take this now and go into Photoshop and then begin to design that particular book cover based upon the size. I think this is this is remarkable. It's a pity I'm not writing a book about eagles. I think this is amazing, I have to say. Wow. That is amazing. It's a pity I'm not doing a book on bald eagles, but that is fantastic, I have to admit. So, what else can you do with ChatGPT? Well, okay, let's see something finally. I'm just going to do one last thing. I have a few tomatoes and potatoes and sardine, and I want you to give me a recipe of what I could do in cooking myself a delicious meal for me, my wife, and children. So could you guide me as to how to go about creating this, please? So I'm just asking, I'm not asking for an artwork. I'm looking for, it got sardine potato stew with tomatoes. Look at that. Ingredients: 4 medium potatoes, peeled and diced, 1 can of sardine in oil, 2 large potatoes diced for 1 can, 1 onion fine, 2 cloves of garlic, and so on and so on. Instructions: prepare the ingredients, peel and dice. I mean, this is amazing. I mean, this is incredible. I mean, this is here, and it's not going anywhere. You can use it for your church. You can use it for your own personal life. You can use it for your business. Over 100 million people are using it. And, one of the things that happened is that when new technology comes onto this scene, many people are nervous about it. They're scared about it. And so they don't get involved. But eventually they do. Soon it'd be 200 million, then it would be 400 million, then it'd be 1 billion, and so on. So it's just a matter of time, really, before people are using it, because it's just a tool that we can use to do what we want. So I think that's it, really. I mean, what can ChatGPT do? It's not so much what can it do, is what can't it do. Are you following me? Is what can't it do? That is really the key. What can't it do? It's kind of a maze. It's just remarkable. I was doing something. I purchased a space on a server somewhere. Well, I didn't purchase it, actually. It was free, and I didn't know how to configure it. I really had no idea how to configure it, because it's all technical jargon, it's all coding and things like that. So I asked ChatGPT, could you help me to figure this out? And it did. I sat here speechless. So it's not so much what can ChatGPT do, is what can't it do. Are you following me? So I strongly recommend that you look at possibilities of this. Actually, I'm going to do one last thing for those who wish to stay behind just for a few more minutes. I think this I find to be incredible on ChatGPT. Just do that one thing, and then I'm going to close off if there's no questions. If no one have any questions for me, then we will leave it there. But I think there's one thing that I think would be quite useful to show in terms of ChatGPT. So ChatGPT, I need to find some ways of making money on the internet. Could you give me the top 10 ways that I could make money using the internet? You see, I am unemployed. I have no job, but I have a few time and I love technology. So help me. Give me the top 10 and put them in order of priority, will you please? So I'm unemployed and I'm asking ChatGPT to help me to find the top 10 ways that I can go about making some money online. Now, I could have put more information in it to say what my skills are and so on and so forth. But what it's doing here basically is just truly amazing. It's giving me top 10 things that I can do to make money online. So it says here, freelance service, offer your skills like writing, graphic design, web development on platforms like Upwork, Fiverr, or freelance. These platforms are great for finding a wide. That straight away is a great tip. Is a magnificent tip. Now look how quickly it did this for me. I could do that search in Google and still come up with some of these points because Google is a type of ChatGPT. I mean, let's face it, right? I'm just doing a search, right? Exactly. But I don't have no advertising pitched at me. Everything is there. So I can do some freelance service, like writing. I could do my writing within ChatGPT. Somebody want me to do some writing, I could do it in ChatGPT. Graphic design, web development, I could do all those things. And then I could sell my services on Upwork, Fiverr, or Freelancer. It's giving me 3 platforms that I could possibly use. And it's a good idea to promote yourself in all 3. Online tutoring, teaching. Use your knowledge in specific subject, teaching others online. Website like vidkidtutor.com, or even create courses on Udemy. That's right, Udemy. I've created a course on Udemy. I have a course right now on Udemy. You can create your own course. And that's what you call residual income. So you can use your own skills, your own knowledge, and create a course. Put it on vidkidtutor.com or even create courses on Udemy. I've got a course right now on Udemy. Affiliate marketing. That's right. Promoting other people's products and get paid for it. All you're doing is referral. Website like Amazon Associates, ClickBank. I'd strongly recommend anybody here wants to make money online, find out more about ClickBank. You'll be amazed at what you can do on ClickBank actually. Start an online store using Shopify. A lot of people are using Etsy, ETSY. Content creation. Start a blog, a YouTube channel, a podcast. Social media management. Offer to manage social media accounts for businesses and influencers. You got time, you could manage their social media for them. And they're looking for people to do that. This is amazing. Virtual assistant service. Provide administrative or technical services to business remotely. Tasks can range from email management to customer service. It's there. You can do it online. These are all part of ChatGPT and AI technology and so on. App software development, online surveys and market research. And then I could say, give me 10 more. And I want to show you how quickly it does it. Okay, you see that? Digital marketing services, create and sell ebooks. Ebooks is amazing. I've got ebooks out there. It's amazing. You just write a book and just put it in the ebook market. It's out there. Website flipping, online coaching, counseling. You can even use Zoom to do your training courses. That's where a lot of people are doing their training courses on Zoom. You can subscribe based content, create a membership site. I've got a membership site. I created one. I could say, give me 10 more. And it's going to give me 10 more. Look at that. Here are 10 more, voice over work, graphic design services, online event planning, sell stock music or sound effects, video editing services. You can edit people's videos for them on DaVinci Resolve, free. Remember what I said, DaVinci Resolve is free. So it's there. It's there. It's there. It can be easily done. Let's say you didn't understand DaVinci Resolve. I've just been taught about DaVinci Resolve. I have no idea how this software works. Could you give me a few lessons, please? So let's see what it comes up with. Absolutely, Pastor Errol. DaVinci Resolve is a powerful video editing software used by professionals for color correction, visual effect, audio post-production, and more. Here is a basic introduction to get you started. Interface overview. You remember what I was telling you about media page, cut and edit page, fusion page, color page, Fairlight, which is the order delivery page. Basic editing video. Look at that. It's telling me. It's my manual. So it's giving me the manual and things like that. Tips for beginners. Begin with simple projects to familiarize yourself with the workflow. Can you recommend any videos that I can watch on YouTube or elsewhere around the web? Let's see what it does. I could only ask, right? So I've decided to ask. So what is it doing now? It's browsing the website. It's searching best DaVinci Resolve tutorial videos for beginners on YouTube. So it's looking for it, and maybe it's going to come back with some links. Now let's hope that it does and see what happens. So it's doing the work for me, it's doing the search for me, and eventually it's going to come up and probably give me a few particular suggestions that I can use to actually advance my skills on DaVinci Resolve, a free software. And guess what? These videos that you watch on YouTube, they're also free. And so you can actually learn it that way and develop the skills that way. I learned most of what I know on YouTube. YouTube is the best university on this side of heaven, planet Earth, in other words. That's my university. That's right. There is no better university than YouTube. None. It's just not possible. And then my second university now is ChatGPT, and I'm going to show you something for those of you that want to stay back. So I'll go on until those of you get fed up with me. So I'm going to show you something that I do. I spend a lot of time on with the scriptures. Okay. So I'm just waiting to see the search results that come through. So don't forget, if you have any questions or any comment for me, please go ahead and put those in the chat room. Here are some recommended tutorial videos that it gives here. And lo and behold, it's giving me the links. My goodness. It says here, step-by-step guide on using editing videos with DaVinci Resolve. And it's just amazing. Look at that. DaVinci Resolve complete tutorial for beginners. DaVinci Resolve 18 tutorial for beginners. Basic video editing techniques for beginners. And that's exactly what I am. So let's click on one of them. So I clicked on the first one. Ah, look at that. What does it say? Let's play that and let's see. So it's giving me some advert first. DaVinci Resolve, 3 million views. My goodness. This is a good one to watch, to say the least. Now, this guy actually, this guy here is, I should be subscribed to him, I think. Yeah, I am subscribed to him. This guy is just amazing. Look at that. 3 million views, 6,000 comments. And ChatGPT found that for me. I think I've already watched this anyway. So it goes through what you do. And the interesting thing about this is it's only 35 minutes in length. It's only 35 minutes. And 3 million people have watched it in the time and space that it's been there. Let's look at another one. Yes, this guy is good as well. He does a lot on Microsoft as well, this particular guy. Now look at that. 2 million views in 1 year. And this is 40 minutes. Yeah, 40 minutes. And he goes through. This guy, he's got the Kevin Cookie Factory. It's just a fictitious thing. He's just amazing, this guy. I think that the other one is worth looking at, actually. How to use the widget. There is a particular guy that is the Dan. I want to see if they come up with him. So let me... It's interesting, actually, that only 4 views on this. This guy's only got 5 subscribers. And yet they've recommended this one. Amazing. Wonderful. The Hutchinson's production. It's only got 5 subscribers and only 4 views in... Oh, it's only done it 7 hours ago. So I may be one of the first one to do this, and he's just doing that. It's amazing. So that's great. The good thing about it is... Let me just close those videos out. The good thing about this as well is that if, for example, somebody wanted that link, I could actually copy all of that link that's this. Okay, so I can't share it because it's got images in it. Because it's got an image in it, I can't share it. This image, I can't share it. But if the image was not there, I could. Okay, I want to do one thing for those of you that are Bible folks, and I'm going to pick a subject. Actually, I'm going to pick a subject, New Testament, and I'm going to pick overview of the New Testament for those of you that, you know, see how you can use this from a biblical standpoint. So I want to start a fresh understanding of the New Testament. So I want to have an overview of the New Testament. I have no knowledge at the moment, so please give me an overview of the New Testament, please. So you heard what I asked it, so give me an overview of the New Testament. So it tells me that there are 27 books. The language it was written is Koine Greek. It's divided into 4 main parts: the Gospels, Acts of the Epistles, and Revelation. So I'm getting a real good overview so far. The Gospels, content, account of the life, teachings of Jesus, and it gives you the book of the Gospels. Then it gives you the Acts of the Apostle. Remember, it was broken down into four main parts. It gives you the author traditionally known to be Luke. The epistles, you got Paul, James, Peter, John, and Jude. You got Revelation, author traditionally to be John, apocalyptic, which is end times. Themes of the book is salvation, faith and practice, eschatology, and so on. Okay, thank you very much. Could you tell me where the original writings are for the New Testament, please? I want to get a copy of the original. Well, I know that the original writing known as the autograph no longer exists. I knew that. So I learned something here. Well, I knew this anyway. The original writings of the New Testament is known as the autograph. They no longer exist. It says here, what we have today are copies of copies, many of which are centuries removed from originals. However, scholars and historians have used these copies to reconstruct the New Testament text with high degree of accuracy. So types of manuscripts. So the autograph, this one, is the original one, but they no longer exist. I knew that. Types of manuscripts. papyri, uncials, minuscules, codex sinaiticus, all of this, please. And network failure, it says regenerate. Okay, it's regenerating that. I don't know what happened there. So it's regenerating. Okay, so that's perfectly fine. Right, so it's okay. So significant manuscript, access to manuscripts and translations and so on and such like. But I could go back inside here and find the first part of what it was talking about, in terms of autograph and so on. Right. Go back to 2. Right. How many verses are in the New Testament and how many words are in the New Testament? So I'm asking it to give me how many words are in the number of words. That's right, 7,957. That's accurate. In the original Greek, the New Testament comprised roughly 138,000 words. Now I'm going to shock some of you right now. What is the name used for mistakes that were made in the manuscripts? Well, I know the word is variance, so I just thought I will ask it to tell me. You see what it says here? Textual variance. So it's textual variance. I knew that was what it was called. Okay, the term used to describe mistakes or variations in biblical manuscript is called textual variance. Now, I want you to notice something. There are 138,000 words. Okay, listen to this. How many variants existed in the New Testament? How many variants? I don't think it's going to tell me, actually. It's going to probably tell me it doesn't know. Oh dear, it does. In fact, it's absolutely correct as well. He says the number of textual variants in the New Testament manuscript is quite high, primarily because of the vast number of manuscripts available and the manual process of copying text in ancient times. However, it's important to understand the context of these variants. You remember what I said before? There was 138,000 words. You see that? 138,000 words. And there are more variants. We don't call them mistakes. There are more variants in the New Testament than there are words in the New Testament. Can you see that? Okay. Estimated number of variants is between 300 and 400,000. So even if I take the lower one, there are more variants. What's the variance? If someone is, if you got two manuscripts side by side, and one says Jesus Christ in the same verse, and the other one says in the same verse Christ Jesus, that's a variant. So it really doesn't make any difference anyway in terms of the variant. One says Jesus Christ and the other one says Christ Jesus, or the other one might just say Jesus and the other one says Christ. So you have four variants, but they're all saying the same thing. So it really doesn't make that much matter. And it tells you the types of variants that exist, the reasons for the high number, the context of variants, and so on. Are you able to tell me anything about a professor known as Bart Ehrman? Right. I know that it spelled it wrong, but I want to see what it comes up with. Yes, he comes up with him. Bart D. Ehrman is a notable scholar in the field of New Testament studies and early Christianity. Here are some key aspects of his professional background and work. I mean, this guy is absolutely amazing, actually. But he doesn't. Well, what actually happened? Okay, I'm going to see if I could ask it to tell me. So he actually wrote a book, How Jesus Became God. The title he had as well called Misquoting Jesus and things like that. Okay. Was Bart Ehrman ever a Christian? And if he was, what happened? You can see the spelling is wrong, but it picks it up. Bart Ehrman was once a Christian. His journey from Christian faith to agnosticism is a significant aspect of his personal and professional story. Here's a brief overview. Early Christian belief. Just to cut it in short, he was a young Christian. I think he was a young pastor as well. And he went to study. And he came up with a time when he was asked to do a thesis on theodicy. Okay? Theodicy. And he lost his faith over that. Okay. What is theodicy? Please explain it in simple terms. Theodicy. Right. You know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to correct the spelling. I'm going to see whether it comes up with it. I'm going to see it's thinking. It's found it. It's amazing though. It's amazing. I didn't change the spelling. You see what he had over here? It had it differently, but it comes up with the term. The term theodicy is derived from the Greek word theos, meaning God, and dike, meaning justice, so the justice of God. And here is what it says. It's what we call the problem of evil. And really what it's saying is, let me see if it really gives me the point I wanted to make. Let me see if it gives me the point I wanted to make. Yeah, the question is here. Theodicy explores questions like, why would a good God allow evil? Can the existence of evil be reconciled with the idea of a benevolent, omnipotent deity? For example, this is how it would be put. This is how it would be put. If God is good, and if God is all powerful, and God is all loving, how could evil exist? Let me ask you that question. Explain this for me. If God is all powerful and all loving and all knowing, how could evil exist? I'm going. You see, it put how could easily exist. So I'm going to leave it there and see if it finds the word evil. The question you're asking is a classic formulation of the problem of evil in the context of theodicy, which challenges the coherence of concept of God as all-powerful, omnipotent, all-knowing, omniscient, and all-loving, benevolent. The dilemma can be summarized as follows. If God is all-powerful, he has the ability to prevent evil. If God is all-knowing, he knows when and where evil occurs. If God is all-loving, how should desire to prevent evil? The existence of evil suffering therefore appears to conflict with the idea of God possessing these three attributes simultaneously. Here are a few philosophical and theological responses to the dilemma: free will, and so on. Bart Ehrman called free will. Let me see if it knows. What does Bart Ehrman call free will, or the defense of free will? Let me see what it says. Often addresses the topic of free will, particularly in the context of the problem of evil suffering. However, his his perspective on free will as its defense in relation to theodicy is influenced by his agnostic stance and approach to biblical texts. Ehrman tends to view the free will defense, the argument that God allows evil to exist because of the gift of free will to humans, with a critical lens. Here's a general idea of how he approaches it. Skepticism about the free will, the problem of suffering, and so on. He normally calls it the robotic response. This is the normal response that most Christians would give: free will. And I don't agree with that. What the role that people give free will, because it's got to be broader than that. But what I'm showing you with regards to, I'm doing my my overview of the scriptures. Okay, give me 10 top facts about the overview of the New Testament, and give me the reasons why, and use table format. So I'm asking it to produce a table and then give me the fact and then give me the reasons. So it comprises of 27 books. That's the fact. Represents the core of Christian scripture. You can see that's happening here. Written in Koine Greek, which is what it said before. It gives me the reasons here. Contain 4 gospels. The Acts of the Apostles includes 21 epistles. Concludes with Revelation. 7 developed over 1st century AD. Rich in theological themes. Right. When was the New Testament canonized, and who canonized it? Give that to me in table format. So I want to know who put the canon together, and how was it put together, and when it was put together, and I want to see that so I can learn about that. Well, it says here the time period was in the 2nd century AD, and the church fathers like Irenaeus and Tertullian reference texts akin to the current New Testament. Late 2nd century Muratorian fragments. 4th century former ratification. Council like the Synod of Hippo. Early 5th century widespread acceptance by Augustine of Hippo and others. 16th century Protestant movement. This is when Martin Luther came around, and they re-examined the canon and made changes. Yeah. Council of Trent, that the Roman Catholic Church. Okay. Redo the table for me and put dates. Oh, you got the dates there already. Separate the dates for me. So I just want to redo it, and it should give me 4 boxes, I think. I should have the date on one of them, I think. Oh, it had the dates already, actually. So I'm just being silly. The date was already there. It's over here. Right. So you can see what I'm doing, and the length of time it's taken me to get a grasp of this. So the Council of Trent was 1546. That is correct. And that's the Roman Catholic Church officially confirmed the canon during the Council of Trent. And the reason why they did that is because of the Protestant movement had taken books out. The Septuagint, tell me, was the Apocrypha books in the Septuagint during the time of Jesus? Now we're getting a little deeper now. And the Apocrypha, a collection of Jewish writings that are included in some Christian Bible, were indeed part of the Septuagint, the Greek translation of the Hebrew Scriptures during the time of Jesus. Here are some key points about this. Now, this is really amazing, because you can find, I mean, this is really truly amazing. So the Septuagint, which was around 70 to 72 Jews, that put this together around 70 BC, right? Okay, let's ask. How many years before Christ was the Septuagint written? I think it should be 70 BC, I think. The Septuagint, which is the Greek, approximately, it says, translated about 250 to, well, it's Septuagint, which is the Greek translation of the Hebrew Bible, was produced approximately in the 3rd century BC, while the exact date of its completion is not definitely known. The translation process is generally believed to have started around, this means that the Septuagint was translated about 250 to 300, okay. What happened 70 years BC before Christ in terms of the Septuagint? I'm not even correct in the spelling. It seems to know. Around 70 years before the birth of Christ, which is around 70 BC, the Septuagint, the Greek translation of the Hebrew Bible, was already in existence and being used with the Hellenistic Jewish people and so on. Now, there are people who argue that the Septuagint did not include the Apocrypha books, okay? Now, we need to know what the Apocrypha books mean and the different names. In summary, around 70 BC, the Septuagint was an important and widely used translation of the Hebrew Bible. Okay. Could you explain the Apocrypha books and the different names that are used for it and why? Using the table format to explain that, please. So I'm asking it to give me the different names that are used for those books. And I think there was around 3 different types of names used for those books. The Apocrypha, the Deuterocanonical, and there's a Deuterocanonical, and the okay, this is a Greek meaning pseudepigrapha. I've heard that before. I thought there was another one. I'm not sure if it's going to come up with that, and maybe it's there already. And let's see. All right. So the now, different people use different names because they do not have it included in their Bible. Okay. So the Apocrypha, a term used mainly in Protestant context, churches like my church, like Church of the Prophecy, it means hidden or secret and refers to those books being of unknown or questionable authority. So Protestant people use the word Apocrypha. Common in Protestant Bibles, where these books are generally not included in the canon but might be printed in separate sections. Okay, Deuterocanonical books means second canon. This term is used primarily in the Roman Catholic Church and the Eastern Orthodox churches to signify these books or be recognized later than the books of the Hebrew Bible. Widely used in the Roman Catholic and Eastern Orthodox Bible, where these books are included as part of the Old Testament. You see that? They're included. That's why they call it Deuterocanonical. That means second canon. The agnagim was a Greek meaning those which are to be read. This term is used in the Eastern Orthodox Christian, used in the context Orthodox Christian to denote these books liturgical and theological values, even if their canonical status might be different from the rest. Pseudepigrapha, these terms refer to collection of ancient Jewish writings that are not part of the canon. Right, now, here's a question I'm going to ask it. Let me think, how do I put this one? So this is a good one, I think. Okay, here we go. I am told that between the time of the last book of the Old Testament, Malachi, and the first book in the New Testament, Matthew, that this was the time when God was silent for 400 years. Is that true? And is there any biblical reference that suggests that God was silent in these 400 years, as I have been told? Now, brothers and sisters, listen to this one. The period between the writing of the last book of the Old Testament, Malachi, and the first book of the New Testament, Matthew, is often referred to as the This is what I was looking for. Yeah, this is the word. Intertestamental period, or the 400 silent years by some Christian scholars and theologians. Listen to this carefully. This notion of silence refers to the belief that there were no new prophetic messages or scriptures being written during this time, and it is seen as a period where there was no direct revelation from God to the Jewish people. And those are the period with which the Apocrypha was written. Listen to this carefully. However, there are a few important points to consider regarding this perspective. Listen to this carefully. There is no specific biblical reference that explicitly states God was silent for 400 years between the testaments. This concept is more a theological interpretation than a biblical documented fact. Someone has been lying to me. They is telling me that God was silent for 400 years between Malachi and Matthew. And there's no biblical reference for it. There's none. And yet somebody's telling me God was silent and there's no proof. Someone has made this up. This is the beauty of studying, brothers and sisters. Bishop Pullman once said to me, over and over actually, you must know God for yourself. So it's easy for the Protestant who came up with this lie to justify that the Apocrypha books are not inspired. Because if God didn't speak and those books were written in that period, then they can't be inspired, which would be true. But where's the Bible that says this? Anyway, it goes on to say, despite the lack of new biblical texts, this period was rich in historical and cultural developments for the Jewish people. It included significant events like the Maccabean Revolt, the rise of various Jewish sects like the Pharisees and Sadducees, and increasing Roman influence. And that is true. Those things did happen. Those things did happen, you know, and we can find evidence for that in the scriptures. Apocryphal and pseudographical writing. During this time, various religious and philosophical writings were produced, some of which are found in the Apocrypha and pseudographical. These texts, which not included in the Hebrew Bible, reflect the religious thoughts and struggles of Jewish people during this period. So what the Protestants like Martin Luther decided, they took the Apocryphas out because they're saying it was not in the Hebrew Bible. Well, I think that might be a kind of not an issue for me, because if the Hebrew Bible finishes at Malachi, or, you know, maybe they just didn't, they concluded that before that period. It's really interesting. But the idea of God's silence is often interpreted as a lack of active prophecies similar to that of the Old Testament prophet. This does not necessarily mean God was absent or inactive, but rather that there was absence of prophetic writings being added to the Jewish scriptures. And that's the way that is done. But somebody ain't telling the truth. But it's amazing. Okay. When was the Apocrypha books taken out of the Bible, and who took them out? And what right did they have to take it out? Give that to me in table format, please. So I want to know, when was it taken out? And who took it out? And why? There it is. 16th century Protestant Reformation, Martin Luther and other reformers. Reformers questioned. It was there before. It was there up until this point. It was there from before Christ, and it came all the way up to the 16th century. The reformers took it out. That's one of the reasons why I do not see myself as a Protestant. I'm not a Protestant. You can call me whatever you like. I'm not. Because that name gives the impression of many things. And there's no term called Protestant in the scriptures. None. So I'm not a Protestant. That's a man-made terminology. I am of the holiness movement. That's the movement I'm from. I'm of. People often ask you, are you from the Protestant movement? And I says, no. No. I'm from the holiness movement. All right. Martin Luther. Reformers questioned the canonical. This is like nearly 2,000 years after, by the way, or around 16, 17, 1800 years. They come along and they questioned the canonical status of the Apocrypha, aligning more with the Jewish canon, which did not include these books. Luther's translation of the Bible placed the Apocrypha in a separate section, setting a precedent for later Protestant Bibles. So what Martin Luther did this. Martin Luther. Who gave him the right to do that? Where did he get this right from? He doesn't explain. His justification is that it wasn't in the Jewish Bible. That's quite easy to understand. The New Testament is not in the Jewish Bible. Martin Luther. The New Testament is not. The New Testament is not in the Jewish Bible. It's called the Tanakh. Oh, let's have a look. I'll come back to this in a minute. Could you give me all the books that are in the Tanakh, the Hebrew Bible? Give it to me broken down in table format, please. See, it's got Dunok or whatever, but I'm going to leave it there. and it will certainly find it. There you are. Tanakh is divided into three main sections. It's called the law, the prophets, and the writings. Okay, here's the prophets, and it's going to give you all the books. And then it's called the Kevihim, I think it's called. And then it's going to, Ketuvim. And there are 24 books there. And it's outlining them. There you are. Doesn't have the New Testament in it. So that means, Martin Luther, you should have taken out the Apocrypha and taken out the New Testament, because it's not in the Hebrew Bibles. It's not in the Hebrew Bible. I want to know what right Martin Luther had to take them out. I have the right to ask this question. I think I have the right to ask, and I am asking. You see, Luther was a German, right? He translated the Bible into German and placed the Apocrypha books in a separate section. So he still had it in his Bible, but later they took it out completely, and it's no longer in any of the Bibles. So when I first came into the Church of God of Prophecy, Bishop Mike Wilson bought me a Bible, King James Version Bible. And when I looked in it, it had 66 books. Now, I don't disagree with the 66 books. I love the 66 books. But I'm entitled to ask a question, aren't I? I'm entitled to ask, who gave Martin Luther the right to take them out? Just because they were not in the Hebrew Bible, but they were in the Septuagint, which, by the way, let me just prove this. Who translated the Bible from Hebrew to Greek, calling it the Septuagint? Who did that? Who did that work, please? I want to see if it was Martin Luther. Let's see who did that work. The translation of the Hebrew Bible into Greek, known as the Septuagint, is traditionally attributed to a group of Jewish scholars. There were Jewish scholars who did it. Martin, it was Jewish scholars. It was Jewish scholars who did it. So why did you take him out? The translation of the Hebrew Bible in Greek, known as the Septuagint, is traditionally attributed to a group of Jewish scholars. The most famous account of its origin is found in the letter of Aristesis, an ancient document that provides a legendary account of the translation process according to its traditions. And it is said that this is, I don't know if this is true, but 70 or 72 scholars. The project was undertaken by a group of 70 or 72 Jewish scholars, 6 from each of the 12 tribes of Israel, according to the legend. So we don't know if that's true, but that's according to the legend. This is where the name Septuagint comes from, deriving from the Latin word for 70. Location: the translation was supposedly done in Alexandria, which was a major center of leading and cultural in the Hellenistic world. Reason for the translation was made for the library of Alexander and to make the Hebrew scriptures accessible to Greek-speaking Jews in Egypt. That was it. And so this was written by Jews, Jewish scholars, and they had it in there, Martin. So I just wanted to know why you took them out, Martin. That's all I want to know. But that's where you have it. So the American Bible Society decision, do you see this? 1826. Notice this. They voted to exclude the Apocrypha from all its publications of the Bible, influencing its widespread exclusion in American Protestant editions. So there was a vote made. That's how they decided. It wasn't like a revelation from the Holy Spirit. It was a vote to exclude it completely. So when you now buy your Bible, then it would not have it in. But I have a copy. I don't know where it is. I don't think I have it here. I have a copy of the Roman Catholic Bible, and they're in there. As a matter of fact, I have a copy of it right here. Right here, you can see that, S-DOS. It's all here. I've got it right in front of me here. So I can go to Maccabee, and 1 Maccabee 1, and it happened after. And it's interesting because as you go through it, it's you can ask yourself questions. Is it or is it not? The wisdom all the way through here. Or you can read it and so on. Yeah. And you got Sirach and so on. It's all here. But somebody says it's not inspired. It's not from God. Let me give you an interesting mystery. Let's do this. We're doing an overview of New Testament, but I understand that there is a book in the Bible that does not have the word God in it. How is that book inspired? And has there been challenges over the years to exclude this book from the entire Bible? Could you explain this in table format, please? Now, I know the book is Esther, right? We all know the book is Esther. So let's see. The book you're referring to is the book of Esther. So it's found it. Lack of explicit mention of God. View of inspiration. Despite not mentioning God, Esther is considered inspired for its portrayal of Jewish identity, faith, and providence. The narrative is seen as demonstration of God's indirect action and presence in the lives of the Jewish. Historical challenges. Throughout history, some rabbis and Christian scholars have questioned Esther's place in the canon due to its secular tone and lack of explicit religious content. In Jewish tradition, Esther is central to the celebration of Purim, which is a major festivity in the Jewish because of the time when they were going to terminate the Jews, and there was a major war. The Jews were saved, so they call it Purim. Survival of the reason with the Jewish history, and despite debate, Esther was accepted into Jewish canon, the Tanakh, and the Christian Old Testament. Its canonical status was affirmed in Jewish tradition by the Council of Jamini late 1st century AD and by early leaders. And so it got in. No mention of God, but it got in, you see. Right, so we can see then from my table up here that it was done by Martin Luther. Okay, let's leave that for a moment. Those of you, if you have to go, I'm going shortly, so, and there's no one asking me any question. I can't see no question whatsoever, so. My sister is online from Jamaica. Trevor Bailey is watching. Murdell, how you doing? Blessings to you all. Blessings. Now, so I have my gripe, if you like, on the Apocrypha books and so on and so forth. I have my gripe and so on. I do my research and I'm asking questions. That's all I can do, right? Is ask questions. And I'm looking for answers. And hopefully I may get some, and I think the answer I'm going to get is a vote was made, Errol. A vote was made, and they decided to take them out. A vote was made, or I would be told by somebody that the reformers took it down. The reformers took it down. And then I would say, well, but 70 Jewish scholars put them in. And wouldn't they have been closer to the time than, listen to this carefully, wouldn't this 72 or 70 scholars, Jewish scholars that is, be closer to the time of its happening rather than nearly 1800 years later, people who don't know took it out? Are you following me? Do you feel me? All right, let's leave that. All right, I want to do one last thing. My favorite book is the book of James. All right. Since we are studying the overview of the books of the New Testament, I want to focus and zoom in on the book of James. Could you give me an overview of the book of James? So what I'm asking for, I just want to focus on one book now. We could do that from Matthew, Mark, all the way down to all 27 books. But I just wanted to, before I go sign off, I just wanted to look at the book of James. The book of James often attributed to James, the brother of Jesus. Some have said it's the brother of Jesus because we know that it can't be James, the other James, because he was killed, he was martyred, right? So many believe that this James is the brother of Jesus. It's a unique and practical book in the New Testament. Here's an overview. So the authorship, normally the brother of Jesus, and so on. Audience is written to Jewish Christians scattered abroad. It says that. Its likely date was early New Testament writings, possibly around 48 to 62 AD after Christ. So 48 years or 62 years after his death. Key themes: faith and works, trials and temptation, practical Christianity, rich and poor. Give you the structure. It comprises of 5 chapters. Notable verses: faith by itself, it does not does not have works, and so on and so on. This reminds me of something. There has been a conflict over the years between James' statements of works and Paul's statement of works. Could you explain what the conflict was in table format? And Yeah, there has been a conflict between people about. Let's see if ChatGPT is able to pick it up. The perceived conflict between the teachings of Paul and James on faith and works have been a topic of theological discussion for centuries. It's amazing, ChatGPT. Paul emphasizes salvation by faith alone, while James stresses the importance of works as evidence of faith. Here's a table summarizing the key aspects of their teachings and the nature of the conflict. So, just to explain the conflict again, Paul says it's faith. Paul emphasizes salvation by faith alone, no works. But James says, James stresses the importance of works as evidence of faith. They're both right. It's just that people are looking at it from a different angle. They're both right. They're both right. So Paul teaches that salvation is through works alone, not by works. He argues that no one can achieve righteousness through the law and that justification comes through faith in Jesus Christ. James stresses that faith without works is dead. He argues that genuine faith will naturally produce good works, and these works demonstrate the variety of ones. And that's right. And there has been nature of the conflict and so on. I won't bother going into it. I just thought I would just bring that up. I'm just trying to show you how you can use ChatGPT to further your development. And let me say this to you, okay? This is better to me than reading 100 books because I'm getting it summarized for me. I just love it the way it's doing it. And most of what you see me going through, I know about most of it anyway already. So it's just a revision for me in that sense. And so, but it's just amazing. So if I was to teach this, I would be able to pull out the key things as to what to do. So I'm looking at the book of James. How many verses and how many words are in the book of James? So I just want to know how many words and how many. I think it's 108 or 108 verses. I was right. I didn't know about the words, 2,300 words, but it's 108 verses. I did know. But again, it depends on which version you read. But, I should have said King James because it varies, depending on what book you're reading. But in the King James, I know that, well, it's 108 in all the versions. But the word count may be different. So we know who wrote it. We know who it was writing. We know that he was a brother of Jesus. We know that it wasn't James that was killed. Aha! I want to ask a question in the New Testament that just popped up. Who is the disciple that Jesus loved? Who is that disciple that Jesus loved? Now it's going to tell me John, I think. It's going to tell me John. John is the disciple whom Jesus loved is a phrase used in Gospel of John to refer to one of Jesus' disciples, traditionally identified as John the Apostle. Okay, let me just, he's just telling me that I've been idle in Zoom for 40 minutes. Right. Listen to this carefully, right? We're in the New Testament, God, It says here, the disciple whom Jesus loved is a phrase used in Gospel of John to refer to one of Jesus' disciples, traditionally identified as John the Apostle. This identification is based on church tradition and the analysis of texts themselves. Here are some key points about this figure. Mentions in Gospel of John. This disciple is mentioned several times in the Gospel of John, but his name is never explicitly given. In actual fact, the word John, this disciple's name, John, is not in the book of John. Only John the Baptist. Okay, so his name is not in it. He is present at crucial events such as the Last Supper, the crucifixion, and the empty tomb. Traditionally identified as John, early Christian traditions did that. I'm just going to cut to the chase. Give me the chapter and verse that explicitly states that the disciple that Jesus loved was John. Okay, so I'm asking it to give me the chapter and verse. You look at that. There is no chapter and verse in the Bible that explicitly states that the disciple whom Jesus loved is John. The identification of the beloved disciple as John is a tradition based on early Christian writings and the analysis of Gospel of John rather than a specific biblical statement. The Gospel of John itself does not directly name the disciple whom Jesus loved as John. This identification has been inferred from the context of the Gospel and the tradition of the early Christian church. The Gospel refers to the beloved disciple in several passages, such as John, and it gives you, but it does so without explicitly naming him as John. All right. Could it be remotely possible then that the disciple whom Jesus loved may not be John, but it could be somebody else, another disciple? Is that possible? Let's see. Let's see what ChatGPT tells me. Yes, it's remotely possible that the disciple whom Jesus loved mentioned in the Gospel of John could be someone other than John the Apostle. While the tradition and most widely accepted interpretation identify this as John, there are other theories, possibilities that have been suggested by scholars and theologians. Look, another disciple. Some scholars have proposed that the beloved disciple could be another member of Jesus' inner circle, perhaps one not named elsewhere in the gospel. So the point I'm making here is this. There are certain traditions that we may hold to, certain things we may hold to, but it doesn't have any biblical foundation. It's inferred. The early fathers said it. Where is it said it? It doesn't tell me. It's not in there. You know, I was doing a training course with some pastors and Bishop Mike Wilson. We were teaching on stewardship. So I wrote my mobile number on the board, and I said, could I ask everyone to write this down for me, please? And I said, who is the disciple that Jesus loved? And they said, John. I said, who's the disciple that leaned on Jesus' breast? They said, John. I said, who's the disciple that outrun Peter and got to the tomb first? And they said it was John. I asked a few more questions, and I said, when you find the chapter and verse, could you give me a call and give it to me, please? I've been waiting a few years now, and nobody has phoned me. But isn't it amazing how we hold to something that really there is no biblical proof? It's just an inference, or maybe the early fathers saying it was so. Well, I don't know who disciple whom Jesus loved. I have no idea. The Bible didn't tell me, so I don't know. It could be John. Listen to this. Could you explain to me what embedded theology means? Right, let's have a look at embedded theology. This is a term that I've heard. I think I first heard the term from Pastor Heather Aldred, actually. Embedded theology refers to the religious beliefs and understanding that are deeply ingrained or embedded in a person's life and community, often absorbed unconsciously from one's culture and familiar environment. It is typically the first form of theology a person encounters and learns, usually from a young age. Here are some key aspects of embedded theology. Origin. Embedded theology usually originates from the religious context in which a person is raised, and so on. So I won't bother go through all this, but the point is that there are certain beliefs that we may have, that we may hold to, that are not true. Okay. Give me some explicit examples of embedded theology. Make it very simple in table format. Right, let's see what it comes up with here now. Embedded theology. Here's a table providing simple, explicit example. Embedded theology. Family prayer tradition. A family regularly prays before meals or bedtime. Children growing up in this environment come to understand prayer as a natural, important part of daily life. Okay, so that's embedded theology example. Community worship style. The style of worship in a person's church, such as the use of hymns, choruses, or liturgy, shapes their understanding of what worship looks like and how it should be conducted. And that's a very interesting point, because when we talk about liturgy, it's the things we do within our church service. So, for example, in Wembley, I think it's everywhere else as well. So we start with prayer. We may have some teaching. We have the worship leaders come out and do. Then we have the offering. Then we have the PRO. Then we have the message. Then we have the article. That's your liturgy. That's the kind of, outline that we may have, And so we come to believe that that communal worship style, that's it. It shapes our understanding of worship looks like and how it should be conducted. Religious holidays, celebrating religious holidays like Christmas or Easter with special traditions like attending church services, reading special scriptures, or engaging in certain rituals, embed certain beliefs and values associated with these holidays. Interesting. Moral teachings, being taught specific moral values based on religious beliefs such as honesty, compassion, or forgiveness as part of one's upbringing. And it goes on. And there are certain things that we may hold to be true that may not be biblically sound, but it's our traditional belief that we may have, and so on. So that's really yeah, I think this is really powerful. There's certain things that you may believe that I'm going to ask this question. Give me some sayings that is traditionally used, but they're not biblical. They have no chapter and verse reference to them. Give me around 10 in table format. Right, let's see what it does. You guys not going to bed? You guys still up? Thank you guys for Audrey Small, bless you. Yeah, God help those who help themselves. That is a traditional saying, often mistaken as biblical. This saying is actually from Aesop's fables and popularized by Benjamin Franklin. Cleanliness is next to godliness. That's a good one. Spare the rod, spoil the child. That's an interesting one. While inspired by Proverbs 30:28, the exact phrase does not appear in the Bible. It comes from a 17th century poem by Samuel Butler. That's interesting. I didn't know that one. Money is the root of all evil. Money is the root of all evil. A misquote of 1 Timothy 6, which actually says, for the love of money is the root of all evil. This too shall pass. A popular saying implying that all conditions, good or bad, are temporary. This specific phrase is not found in the Bible. God moves in mysterious ways. That's an interesting one. Inspired by Christian theology, but not a direct biblical quote. It's often attributed to him by William Cowper. Charity begins at home. Oh dear. Commonly heard but not biblically phrased. This concept might align with some biblical teaching, but it's not a direct quote. To thine own self be true. I heard that one before. This is truly a quote from Shakespeare, Hamlet, not the Bible. The eye is in the window of the soul. While it echoes Matthew 6:23 about the eye being the light of the body, this exact phrase is not in the Bible. Hate the sin, love the sinner. Often thought to be biblical sentiment, but the phrase is not found in the Bible. I like this actually. Give me 10 more. There was one particular one that I'm looking for. But I'm just asking it for God won't give you more than you can handle. That's a good one. That's an interesting one. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Idle hands are the devil's workshop. Pride comes before the fall. The Lord works in mysterious ways. God will never give you more than you can bear. With cleanliness. Okay, we did that one. The seven deadly sins. This too shall pass. The lion shall lay down with the lamb. There's one that I had heard. How does it go again? I've forgotten. I'm too tired. There was one by Helena Baylor. There's a traditional saying which is in a song by Helen Baylor. Do you know what that phrase is? If this finds it, I'll be amazed. I will be absolutely amazed. Helena Baylor, a well-known gospel singer, has recorded various lyrics, but the reason resonate with many listeners of her movement, the sea. Yeah, that's it. That is it. It found the sea of forgetfulness includes a line that is often remembered and quoted. He cast our sins into the sea of forgetfulness, never to remember them anymore. The phrase, while it echoes biblical themes of forgiveness and redemption, is a paraphrase or poetic expression rather than a direct biblical quotation. The concept is likely derived from the passages like Micah, which says, He will again have compassion on us. He will tread our iniquities underfoot. You will cast all our sins in the depths of the sea. While the exact phrase, sea of forgetfulness, isn't in the Bible, the song's lyrics capture the essence of God's forgiving nature as described in passages like this. I'm amazed it's found it, actually. I remember I was teaching a particular course, and I'm definitely stopping at 12 o'clock for those of you who are still here. I remember I was teaching a course, and I said, God has cast our sins in the sea of his forgetfulness. And someone said to me, could you give me the chapter and verse for that? The person wasn't being funny. The person was genuinely wanting to write it down. So I didn't know where the scripture was. So I said to the person, I'll look it up in a moment and I'll give it to you. Well, during my break, I looked it up and realized it was a song from Helena Baylor. And I thought, oh my gosh, what do I do here? Do I explain? I had to be true. I really had to be true and let the person and let the class know that I apologize. It's not in the Bible. It's just something I was using that wasn't there. All right. So we're doing our overview of the New Testament, and you can see basically how many things we have done. I mean, this is remarkable, the amount of stuff we've done. I could take that link and I could share that link with you. I could copy the link, and the link of the entire thread is saved. And if I add any more to it, you can see. Okay, what I'd like you to do for me is to summarize everything that has been shared in this thread, and just summarize it in terms of what are my takeaways, what are the lessons that I can learn from what we have already discussed here. So I just want a summary. I should have asked it to do it in table format actually, but it's gonna give it to me, and it's just going over, the overview of the New Testament, how many books, the importance of historical context of these writings and their impact in Christian belief, textual variations, which was mentioned before. Okay, Bart Ehrman work and his perspective and so on. Bart Ehrman is one of the most renowned New Testament scholar that there is at the moment. Even though he's not a Christian, he was a Christian. He's now an agnostic. That means he doesn't know if God exists or not. Okay, theodicy and the we talked about, and the problem of evil. The Septuagint and the Apocrypha, and the lessons here is the diversity of religious texts and traditions and the importance of historical context in biblical studies. Disciples whom Jesus loved in John. The topic illustrates how biblical text can be open to interpretation and the role of tradition in shaping our understanding of Scripture. We talked about embedded theology and its influence, and common sayings mistakenly attributed in the Bible. So it's given me a real beautiful overview of some of the things that I have looked at and so on. Overall, our discussion underscores the richness and complexity of biblical studies, the importance of historical textual understanding, the need for thoughtful engagement with theological concepts. It also shows the integrity between academic scholarship, traditional beliefs, and the personal dimension of faith. And this is really amazing because in just, I don't know how long we've been at it, maybe an hour or so, and you can see the vast array of topics that I've looked at, the speed in which it's come to me. It's on a level as never before. This is the most powerful study facility resources that I have at my fingertips today. It's just absolutely mind-boggling what this thing can do, what it has done, just in my biblical study, just in my overview, and so on. Is there any key things that you can tell me that we haven't discussed about the overview of the New Testament that is significant? Could you give me 10 of those things that we haven't discussed already in table format? You can tell I learn easily and better when I can see it, in diagrammatical form like that. So it talks about diverse authorship. The New Testament books were written by various authors, including apostles, disciples, and so on. It's a good point. Historical context of Roman occupation. That's a powerful point, actually. Understanding the political, social context of Rome rule, and so on. Development of early Christian doctrine. That's a good point. Role of women. Women played significant roles in the New Testament, from followers of Jesus to leaders in the early Christian communities, challenging some contemporary cultural norms. And that's a study we can do all by itself. Use of parables by Jesus. Jesus teaching through parables is a distinct feature of the Gospels, and that's really good. Eschatological expectations. That's something that we could also dive in the book of Revelations, for example. Jewish-Christian relations. The New Testament documents the evolving relationship and tension between early Christian mainstream Jewish communities. Inclusion of Gentiles. Again, that's something that we see riding through the New Testament. Okay, formation of the New Testament canon. Variations of early Christian worship and practices. Are there any more that I am missing? Give me the rest in table format. So I want to know, is there anything else I could learn? Anything else I can actually delve in just from, the development of Christian ethics, role of the Holy Spirit, language and styles and variations. You can see the vast array. And ChatGPT will go into any of these that I choose, any of these miracles of Jesus, the concept of the New Testament, the early Christian communities, the apocalyptic genre, books like Revelations and so on. Spread of the gospel beyond Judah, interaction with it. Are there any more? And let's see. I mean, there's just so much we can go into, so much more depth that we can actually apply. Yes, there are additional aspects of the New Testament that provides future depth and context. Christ's fulfillment of prophecy, diversity of early Christian theology, conflicts and resolution in the church. Wow, you'll find that a lot in the book of Corinthians. Use of Old Testament scriptures, journey of faith, impact of the Roman Empire, and so on. Actually, a question that's come into my mind. Are there any references in the New Testament pointing to any of the Apocrypha books? Did any of the authors of the New Testament made reference to any of the Apocrypha books? Okay, let's see what it says here. Let's see if any. Again, the New Testament does not contain direct quotation from the Apocrypha, but there are instances where New Testament writing shows conceptual and thematic parallels or possible allusions to the Apocrypha books. Jude and the Assumption of Moses. Jude 1:9 refers to a dispute between Michael, the archangel, and the devil over the body of Moses, a story found in the Apocrypha text, the Assumption of Moses. Interesting. Hebrew and Wisdom of Solomon. Hebrew 1:3 describes the sons as the radiance of God. So it's not direct, it's just some indirect statements that that are being pointed out here, and there may be more. It says here Matthew and Sirach, which can also be referred to as Ecclesiasticus. Matthew 7:12, the golden rule as a parallel in Sirach 31:15, and so on. Allusion to 1 Enoch. Jude 1:14-15 quotes a prophecy from 1 Enoch, one of the pseudegraphical texts which is not part of the Apocrypha but is related in terms of intertestamental literature. So I just thought I'd ask the question. So you can see then how you can use ChatGPT for your biblical studies. And let me say this, and I'll put it to you this way. There is no professor or lecturer that is better than ChatGPT or more knowledgeable than ChatGPT. It just doesn't happen, because ChatGPT takes their knowledge, other people's knowledge, and all the other knowledges, and just give it to me. Let me say it again. You know, it's like I have created, for example, I've created I've created my own ChatGPT, so I'll show it to you. I've created my own ChatGPT. This is my own ChatGPT, this one here that you see. I've created this myself. You see? By Errol Williams. And what this does basically is that I've got my books in it. So if I could go into let me see if I can edit this. Right. I'm trying to see if I can edit my ChatGPT. Right. So in my ChatGPT, I just want to show you something here. I have uploaded my book, which is 352 pages. I've also uploaded Building a Dream, and I'm going to upload all of them there. And this is all of my books that I have written. That's in this particular ChatGPT. So if I say, right, tell me about assertive Tell me about assertive. Let's see if it understands what I'm asking it. I'm just checking something to see if it. So it's searching my knowledge base. It's searching my books. 352 pages in Pursuing Excellence, and it's found certain things. And it says here, it looks like there is no specific mention of assertive mnemonics. Okay, so I didn't put the actual. Let me just take out the word mnemonics here and just search again. You reach the current. Okay, so there's a maximum that I can't use, so I won't be able to show that to you. I would have to now switch over to ChatGPT 3.5 because I've maxed out my usage for the time being. So I won't be able to show you. But the idea of what I'm trying to show you here is this: is that I have inserted my books, and it searched my books plus all the other millions of books out here to bring me the knowledge. So if you take, for example, like Bart Ehrman and all the others, it just takes all of their work, all their information, plus all the other information that's there to give it to me. So it's just truly amazing. Well, I'm going to stop there. I'm tired. And going to, unless there's a question for me, if not, I'm going to let you guys go. Audrey says, good night, Pastor Errol. Audrey Small says, I love ChatGPT. Bless you, Sister Audrey. Well, tomorrow I will be here. Tomorrow is Thursday, and my subject matter is the book of Romans. You know what I should have done? I should have done my studies on the book of Romans rather than the book of James. But because James is my favorite New Testament book, I thought I would look at that and so on. But I hope you found tonight useful, those of you that were. Carrie Ann, bless you. How are you? Great to have you with us. Thank you so much for being here. Well, I'm going to retire now. Must say it was interesting tonight. I hope there was something that you could take away. But my closing remarks would be this. I hear the echo or the echoes of the late Bishop T.F. Poorman, Thomas Francis Poorman, saying to me, know God for yourself. And I think that is such a wise suggestion, is that I've got to know God for me. And I strongly recommend that you do your studies, you do your research, and ask questions. Ask questions in the right spirit, with the right attitude, and with the right style. We don't need to, show frustration and anger. Just ask the right questions. Always remember this: the quality of your learning is determined by the quality of the questions that you ask. I bid you good night. Take care of yourself and your family. Until next time, bye for now.